If you like our content, consider supporting us on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/segabits. Hello and welcome to Sega News Bits. I'm Barry, with me is George.
Hello everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder. Yes, we are receiving a release of this finally, though it's coming in a form that we didn't expect. It's an arcade one-up cabinet, and if you don't remember those are the little cabinets that you build yourself. You put them in your house. They cost $300 to $400. And this one, though, it's the first SEGA collaboration, and it's going to be coming with this game that we have been waiting for forever.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of these in the wild?
Yeah, I have seen these in the wild. Mostly the Atari one, and I know they did a Ninja Turtles one that looks pretty sick. I do like the way that they're doing the whole vintage style look to the cabinet. It really adds to it. They look cool. They're meanie. I'll give you my opinions on this whole thing later, but you can continue talking about the games that will come with it, because it's not just Death Adder, right?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, there are other games included on this, so what you'll be getting in addition to Death Adder is Shinobi, Altered Beast, Wrestle Wars, and Golden Axe, though it looks like they didn't put the original Golden Axe logo on the machine, probably because it's like doubling up with Death Adder, but that's been confirmed to be included.
Yeah, you would think that like Golden Axe would be a big game. Like Wrestle Wars, not very big following in the United States. I think they could have maybe focused on like maybe just beat 'em ups, but it looks like they're trying to like range it, right? Trying to get the widest net possible of people that will enjoy this. It kind of reminds me of those old SNK machines that had like a soccer game, a shooting game, and a fighting game on them. So it's like that's what they're trying to do. They got a wrestling game on it. They got a really rare arcade game technically, because not a lot of people have played that Death Adder. But what's your biggest surprise that they added here?
I guess I'd say for me the biggest surprise is that there's only one 4-player game when the cabinet itself is built for 4 players. So you'd think you'd put something like Quartet or another game from the era that has 4 players. I mean, as is, I think it's just surprising that they're including like we have a 1-player game, a 2-player game, nothing that's even like a 3-player game. So it seems like kind of a waste in terms of having 4 sticks and you're only using either the middle 2 or the 2 on the sides.
Yeah, it is strange.
What do you think about Revenge of Death Adder being included on this and not releasing to consoles? Like, does it bother you?
No, I had some okay, first of all, this is the first time we technically get it home. It's kind of lame that we're behind this paywall of a plug-and-play arcade, basically, because literally this is what these are, right? They're a plug-and-play arcade. They're basically mini arcades, I guess. So, I don't know. I feel kind of weird about it. I would love to have a Sega Ages version of this game released on the Switch. I guess we'll see if people clamor to buy this. How much does this cost anyway?
These usually go for between $300 and $400.
So we're spending literally as much as a PlayStation 4 to play a handful of arcade games that take up a lot of space in your house. But I do see a market for this if you have like a bar at your house and you need an arcade, but you don't want to get a what do they call it, power guzzler? Because those arcades take a power, right? I'm assuming these are a little lighter to run full time.
Yeah, these definitely don't suck down power like a traditional arcade machine. They use an LED screen. It's actually very light inside. Like, it's really not filled with much electronics. It's just, flat screen and the little board that plays the game. Patrick, a writer at Sega Bits, actually set one up, and I took a look at it, and it looks cool, but it's like, yeah, it's definitely not a true arcade machine in your house. It just kind of looks like one on the outside. So if you could include some other 4-player games...
Me?
Yeah, you. What would you include?
That's hard, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of games that we could, but I've never really played 4-player Sega arcade games. That's the thing. Like, if it was my dream arcade game, I would totally just do a Sega racing game. Maybe just all the Outrun games. Like, I never really played Outrunners as much as I would like to. And I think there's a lot of like Sega racing games that came out during that era. They're pretty popular, and they've never done an one-up arcade with an actual steering wheel. They just focus on driving games. And seeing the history of Sega, you know, like even Crazy Taxi would be insane to have. Like if they did a 3D one, which they haven't done yet, but there's a lot of Sega arcade games, and it's hard though because like they could even do one of just light gun shooters. So we'll see what the future holds on this. But what about you?
Well, also revealed this week was a kind of re-release of the Atari Star Wars Trilogy cabinet that Arcade 1UP made. However, this version is a sit-down one, which is really interesting because it got me thinking, you know, like Space Harrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could like put the little yoke in there, you sit down, and you could have a Space Harrier machine that also plays other games that use that control scheme. So like Afterburner, G-Lock, I mean right there you already have 3 awesome games. So I'd love to see something like that from them. So I'm interested in hearing what you, watching, would love to see from Arcade 1UP and Sega. And I also want to know what you guys think about this. Would you pick it up just to play a super rare game that has not been released since it hit arcades? Sound off in the comments below. Don't forget to support us on Patreon and follow us, like us. Say goodbye, George.
Bye.
Thank you.